I wanted justice from the beginning, criminal justice. I wanted Bill Cosby in jail for what he did to me.
Canadian Andrea Constand was the lone woman to do that, chosen by prosecution lawyers as the linchpin accuser out of more than 60 who allege Bill Cosby sexually assaulted them.
It was a very big burden to carry. I think my history as a professional athlete served me very well throughout the process.
After serving 3 years in prison, Cosby was released in 2021 and the ruling against him overturned. Cosby vehemently denied all charges and claimed in court sexual activities between him and Constand were consensual. And Constand, once a college basketball star, is now a champion of a different kind.
I had a group of women, incredible women, survivors, who were the wind beneath my wings.
The Case Against Cosby is not the first documentary on the sexual assault accusations against the comedian.
The Andrea that walked in that door that night was not the Andrea that walked out the door.
But what makes it different is the focus on Cosby's accusers more than on America's dad himself. Wedged between the interviews of the accusers and attorneys are the scenes with women attending a healing retreat with internationally known trauma expert Dr. Gabor Mate.
You clearly have to be so strong. Not just strong, also powerful. These days, do you ever let go of being strong?
I think I try.
3 things that I really wanted to achieve. Number 1 was Andrea's extraordinary story, which includes the legal story, which was an odyssey. The mind of a perpetrator, understanding the mind of a perpetrator and how they operate. And the 3rd thing is understanding trauma and why, when something like this happens to someone, they don't just get over it.
What they hope the audiences get out of it is there's no such thing as how a typical rape victim behaves.
We're still a long way to go for every story like Andrea's. There's tens of thousands of women who don't believe they're going to be believed.
I wanted Bill Cosby in jail for what he did to me.
As the Case Against Cosby is released, Bill Cosby is in the news again with a new lawsuit against him launching in New York. Cosby's lawyer, Jennifer Bongine, declined to comment on the documentary, but is reported to have said it seems to start with a false premise, namely that Mr. Cosby was convicted. Mr. Cosby does not stand convicted of any crime against any accuser, including Miss Constand.
He said he's planning on touring again. When you read those news or see them on your TV, what's your reaction? How do you feel?
I feel like if anybody deserves a comeback tour, it's all the women. It's the 60-plus Cosby women out there whose lives got shattered.
For now, this new documentary is giving at least some of these women a voice.
Deanna, you sat down with Andrea Constand about 3 years since her case saw Cosby convicted, though it was overturned. What's your sense of how she's come through this?
Ian, she really exudes that kind of quiet confidence of somebody who was an elite athlete. And in fact, in this documentary, she says that part of her healing journey, as she calls it, has been trying to let go of that strength of having to be strong all the time and to be a little more vulnerable. And she wants us all to be aware of this. It's part of her mission to educate the public that there's no such thing as a typical way that a woman who says she was sexually assaulted behaves. Some women appear distressed, others appear stoic, yet others turn to substance abuse. She wants people to know this and hopes that it eventually permeates the understanding of the legal system too. Ian.
Thanks, Deanna.